It has been truthfully said that knowledge is power. As you are no doubt aware, GDI has begun field testing its satellite-based ion cannon despite your previous success. Unfortunate. But it does provide one with an interesting speculation. Inside this communications satellite are the security codes that provide GDI access to this ultimate weapon. It is imperative that the Brotherhood secure these codes now. You must capture the center and retrieve the security codes from their databases. Be steadfast. Do not be deterred, no matter what the cost.
No mercy.
Just in preparation.
Hey, my secret weapon! No longer will the world be dominated.
Welcome back, Commander, to the penultimate level in the Nod campaign. Today's mission sees us going up against probably the most fearsome of GDI weapons.
Vehicle reporting.
If nothing else, it is actually a superweapon.
Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out.
So for this mission, we obviously start off with a mobile construction vehicle that we want to move into position. And I managed to glitch out the AI like twice in a row. I'm not sure if it's the ideal way of doing this, or if there's something with the patch, you know, whatever the case may be, but we'll see shortly enough how this portion is kind of trivialized.
Unit affirmative. Awaiting order. Acknowledged.
As we can see, for some reason, the AI just decides, screw your fighting forces, we're just going to go straight for your MCV. Now, that's obviously a problem, because you don't want to lose that, but why did they do this? What makes them lose their tracking? I don't know. Also, there's been several comments with regards to the Mammoth tank. It seems that the Mammoth tank will only choose to shoot rockets if it's not aiming at its target, or if it's shooting at air targets. I think one of the comments made mention specifically of if it's more than 90 degrees. I don't have any way of confirming this right now, but I'll see if I can look into it and report back later.
Yes, affirmative. Yes, affirmative.
So this map has a
Yes, sir.
fair amount of verticality, although we can see that if it's fairly vertical, we're probably at like the halfway point, you know, upwards. So, you know, half of the map is, I don't want to say wasted, but only used for the first portion of this.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Also, the reason why I have a save file that's called Somehow This Worked is because I was basically just gonna, in an unedited cut, I would just load up that save just to kind of like put everything in motion and show how it glitched out. but when I was able to reproduce it, I just figured, oh, well, there's no real necessity for that
New
anymore.
construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Move. Acknowledged. Unit acknowledged.
We're also coming up against another new GDI weapon. I believe it's the multiple rocket launcher.
Right away, sir.
I could be wrong on the exact name, just because there's...
Right away.
I've heard them called different things.
New construction
In
options.
fact, I'm just going to load up the manual right now.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Effectively, it's the long-range artillery for GDI. Think of it as just like artillery, or like a mix between recon bike and artillery. It's still rather slow, but it shoots far and it shoots rockets.
Construction complete.
Yeah, it's called the Mobile Rocket Launch System, MRLS.
Right away, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving. Roger. You got it. Yes, sir. Moving out. Reporting. Affirmative. Ready. Roger. Waiting. Ready. Right away, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Reporting. Moving out. Reporting. Moving out.
Unit lost.
Personally, I try not to build like a ton of defenses.
Yes, sir.
One, just because you're on attack, and generally speaking, if that's the case, it's better off just to like build units and then move out with them after you've successfully defended.
Waiting. Affirmative.
And I guess I should also mention that while I always say these sorts of things and sometimes do the opposite, I try to
Yes, sir.
I try to always adhere to it. It's just that sometimes, you know, when you record a video
Unit reporting. Moving out.
like a week or two before you do commentary,
Reporting out.
you kind of realize some dumb moves.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
Like the strategy's sound, but you kind of already commit to the bit.
Building.
Unit acknowledged. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Moving out.
So, I should mention that since GDI now has access to their ion cannon, which we're going to see, I want to say shortly, I honestly forget when the first appearance shows up. They also still have the A-10 strikes. So, my
Construction
feelings of the A-10 strikes have,
Building.
been made mention before. And I'll probably do a complete 180 once I'm playing the GDI campaign and just wrecking stuff with it. But it sort of gives them, the GDI that is,
Yes, sir.
two options to attack
Waiting order.
with
Yes, sir.
a free unit, or like a free quote-unquote ability, and also with relative impunity, because again, I find defending with SAM sites to be particularly hard.
Construction complete.
I know I mentioned in the thread about how
Yes, sir.
there's always the
Acknowledged. Yes,
um,
acknowledged.
like determining the location that A10s spawn is random.
Moving out.
So hopefully I'll be able to look at the map while they attack us and sort of tally up where they're coming from.
Moving out.
Unit lost.
I'm actually annoyed by how many units the GDI has right now, because it just means I can't scout with their base. I really want to know like
Yes, sir.
what they have.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out. Vehicle report. You acknowledge.
Construction complete.
I think with knowledge of having played this map, I might actually take the plunge and try to build in a more central location.
Construction complete.
Kind of right to the tree we can see right now. More or less just because it gives access to
Options.
3 separate Tiberium fields that are relatively close. I feel like that's one of the things that
Unit reporting.
punishes players the most, is like inefficient base building, or base positioning, I should say. Because the base building, I mean, you kind of get a feel for where you should put power plants,
Yes, sir. Moving
and where you should be putting defensive structures and so on.
Moving out. Unit reporting. Moving out.
Mind you, that's always with the whole like must be adjacent rule set in this game, but
Affirmative.
it's still something to consider. And base positioning kind of screws over players because, well, let's face it, if you accidentally put down your MCV, oh, and this,
Lost.
I actually laughed out loud when I saw that. AI with the pro moves right there. But it kind of punishes new players if you just
Construction options.
build in what you would assume to be like the first best location. For example, if I had just built on like south of my airstrip, just to, I guess maybe if I assume that the GDI base was larger, or that the enemy forces might be more numerous, or they might come from behind, whatever. You're basically at a disadvantage because it takes that much longer to get to the enemy base.
Construction
And
complete.
if you haven't seen the Tiberium fields and like where they're located, you're at a huge disadvantage because your Tiberium harvesters have to move that much further and so on.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Affirmative. Affirmative. Moving. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Awaiting order. Affirmative. Await. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Building.
Vehicle reporting. Moving out. Unit reporting. Moving out.
And for as much as I like the Obelisk of Light, like seriously, that sound is just... If you've played a Command & Conquer game and seen an Obelisk of Light, that sound is like
Construction
perfect.
Yes, sir.
It's the defensive structure sound.
Building.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
What was I going on about?
Reinforcements have
Moving out.
arrived.
Unit reporting. Unit reporting.
You see Obelisk of Light and you're just
Moving out.
too fancy. It's the bright shining light on it.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Um,
Construction
So-
complete.
yeah, I kind of get smarter with a couple things.
Unit reporting.
Oh, right now I'm realizing that one of my Obelisk of Lights was blown up.
Reinforcements have arrived.
And the only like visual difference between a normal power plant and an advanced one is
Yes, sir.
an advanced one has a second, like, what's it called?
Affirmative.
On hold.
Like, my brain goes silo, but I know it's not a silo. You know what it is. Anyways, so the fact that I'm missing an obelisk is the fact that the GDI used the ion cannon. It's kind of why I said that the Obelisk of Light is like too easy to destroy.
Unit reporting.
Also, I just feel like if you had like 3 or 4 tanks, you kind of destroy it easily. But either way, ion cannon
Reinforcements have arrived.
is unfortunately, or I guess for us, fortunately, not as strong in the cutscene as it is in game. The ion cannon basically
Vehicle moving out.
hits like a singular point and does an extreme amount of damage. It's in a way similar to an Obelisk of Light in the sense that it targets one thing. If you can hit 2 things with an ion cannon, then like more power to you. Please record it and show me because I can never manage. That being said, again, the ion cannon does a huge amount of damage, so anything it hits is almost guaranteed to be dead. And I also don't understand why GDI is attacking neutral villages right now.
Yes, sir.
We're invading their territory, so
Yes, sir.
someone pissed in their coffee or something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit reporting. Affirmative.
Now, someone said that the stealth tanks were fairly strong. I guess it's helpful to have this kind of footage just at random.
Awaiting order.
It took 2 salvos of the entire force to take out a medium tank. So it kind of gives you an idea as to how strong or weak those rockets actually are.
Yes, moving out. Moving out.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit reporting. Vehicle reporting.
I should mention that I only recalled the sandbag trick after, like, when I first posted about the sandbag trick in the thread. That was like pretty much the exact point where my brain was like, "Oh right, sandbag trick. I should do sandbag trick." And I'll probably end up showing it off in the GDI campaign. Although, truth be told, at the time of recording this commentary, I'm,
Awaiting order. Affirmative.
I guess, like 80 to 90% of the way through the GDI campaign. So, alright, so looking at these A10s, one came from 3 o'clock and one generously 4:30.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out.
And sure, you could probably argue that, you know, just keep your stuff in base or build sand sites in the appropriate locations, but,
Yes, sir.
you know, my harvesters have to go out, and I don't know when the AI is going to call in its A10 strikes.
Moving out.
Although I suspect it's
Yes, sir.
probably like as soon as the counter drops, hits 0, because
Affirmative.
since it's a refreshable like superpower, as soon as it like counts down and hits 0, then you can use it.
On hold.
Yes,
Cancel.
moving out.
Construction
Awaiting.
complete.
Yes, sir.
So let's see, 5 stealth tanks. Most of them are having pathfinding issues. Versus mammoth tank.
Lost.
Oh, and a direct strike from an ion cannon.
Building.
Yes, affirmative. Affirmative.
Ion cannon is probably like the only reason why I wouldn't build Obelisk of Light or Obelisks of Light, because they're just super fragile to it. And for a 1500, I think that's right. I'm not confusing with the $900 stealth tank. It's a huge investment, and AI is just like absolutely knows and has a great ability to destroy them. So it's kind of like, do I want to waste that money, or do I want to try and use it for something else?
Building.
Those of you who have probably played too much Red Alert in your lifetimes will notice that the building that we were looking at in the corner is the GDI construction base. Like that's the construction center, so you know, kind of gives you the ability to take them out really quickly. Although I say that, and there's almost 30 minutes left in the video, so. Again, these low economy games are really like I don't want to say hardest part, but like this is the tedium of it. Is like my harvesters just glitched out there. I don't believe I clicked on anything. I just selected them. Although, I'll be fair to the game, maybe I got like a double click or something. My mouse has been getting wonky, so who knows. Oh yeah, and GDI, as is customary,
Construction complete.
has orcas.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Reinforcements have arrived. Building.
Now, my thinking on this is, I guess, a little straightforward. I figure there's two grenadiers, or at least what look like grenadiers, next to the GDI construction base, construction center. So,
Reporting. Affirmative.
bring in an artillery, have it shoot from the other side of the water, move in stealth tanks, and then try to eliminate the construction center like right away.
Building.
Only problem is that seeing orcas kinda sorta might jeopardize this plan like really quickly. Especially since they seem to trigger
Vehicle
their
affirmative.
quote unquote response
Moving out.
like as soon as you get on that path across the water.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Unit reporting. Moving out. Unit reporting. Moving out. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Moving out.
It is kind of interesting though to see like
Unit lost.
how
Unit moving out. Moving out.
slow this game is. Like, oh, by the way, I kind of reloaded there. It's just, to me, it's interesting because RTSs these days are very, very fast paced. They're,
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
it's all about, you know, building stuff as quickly as possible, you know, massing units, and kind of just, in most cases, like flooding the enemy with units. Obviously, there's some strategy to it rather than just pure, like, you know, tank rushes and stuff. But at the same time,
Under attack.
Sir.
I just get that sort of
Construction complete.
outlook on it.
Building.
This game being so slow paced, it really makes you have to like work at keeping everything alive. Probably not the intended desire, but hey, at least I get to use the repair bay, or service depot,
Acknowledge.
or
Building.
what's the other one?
Yes, sir.
I feel like there's a third name for those. Ah, whatever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit reporting. Acknowledged. Unit moving out. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Affirmative.
It's interesting that we've barely seen the GDI harvester.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Although, if it's anything like us, all the blossom trees seem to be
Moving out. Waiting order.
producing Tiberium at a very slow pace. So, expect to see some harvesters either go to that Tiberium field in the top left, or the one in the south. Like, really soon.
Construction complete. Building. Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Moving out. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Unit reporting. Affirmative.
Yeah, sometimes in these longer missions, I just like end up having to check the briefing just in case.
Moving out.
Like, am I doing something wrong? Do I need to make sure like I didn't screw something up?
Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Also, yeah, infantry can't. Apparently, by the blurb, infantry shouldn't be able to tell where
Yes, sir.
stealth tanks are, and yet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Awaiting orders. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit reporting. Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, yes, sir. Unit reporting.
Our base is under attack.
Yes, no. Yes, sir.
Also, I don't know what it is about
Yes, sir.
this game, or at least maybe it's this patch. The AI seems almost incapable of using engineers. Like, I'm pretty sure in the last mission there was an APC that had 5 engineers in them,
On
or
hold.
at least like 3 and maybe two fighting units, quote unquote.
Affirmative.
So it's kind of strange.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
Also, GDI are jerks in attacking harmless harvesters. Seriously, what gives?
Moving out.
Construction
Yes,
complete.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, affirmative. Moving out.
Well, at least I had a backup mode.
Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Unit reporting. Moving out. Affirmative. Yes, acknowledged. Moving out. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting order. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Moving out. Yes, moving out. Yes, affirmative. Yes, moving out. Yes, sir. Move. Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out. Waiting order. Moving out. Unit affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Unit report. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit reporting. Waiting. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Moving out. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Moving out. Moving out.
Building.
Unit reporting. Moving out. Yes, moving. Acknowledged.
So GDI bases are
Yes, sir.
pretty typical at this point.
Affirmative.
Usually watchtowers in front of wall, advanced guard towers behind wall.
Moving out.
Kind of a deadly combination, but at the same time, it's not.
Vehicle affirmative.
One, it's obviously not invulnerable.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
And as long as you have something that either attacks from a good distance or that can sneak through, you're generally okay.
Acknowledged.
In our case, the stealth tanks, one, will be able to get into the base without much trouble,
Affirmative. Unit reporting.
Construction complete.
Unit
but I'm still not really,
Unit reporting.
you know,
Moving out. Ready and waiting.
too into, like, flying artillery and trying to use them.
Moving out.
Lost.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
I guess,
Building.
at least for this mission, it's also not ideal that GDI has 2
Unit reporting.
orcas,
Our base
and
is under attack.
artillery units are hilariously, like, fragile too. Oh hey, they also have a commando.
Acknowledged. Yes. Yes.
Or did our commando defect after he died for us like 3 times?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting.
Unit lost.
I think I'm gonna have to start a personnel file on that guy.
Acknowledged. Wait, moving out.
Unit lost. Unit
Yes,
lost.
sir. Affirmative. out. Yes, moving out.
Building.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit acknowledged. Moving out.
One thing that sucks is that the AI, since it always has silos and always has backup and reserves of cache,
Unit report.
destroying a harvester will never be like the
Yes, moving
be-all, end-all simple tactic.
Yes, sir.
You're usually going to have to repeat the process like 4 times, and that might still not be enough.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
And then you have to contend with your own units getting damaged,
Yes, sir.
and your own income being shit.
Construction.
So, you know,
Awaiting order. Knowledge.
Building.
Yes, sir.
one of those things that adds to the length of missions.
Waiting order.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Alright, now we've got
Construction.
an A10 that spawned in the 2 o'clock position,
Yes,
and another A10 that once again around, I guess, 5 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock.
Have arrived.
affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
Now, on the plus side, I did get to actually destroy an
Yes,
A10.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Whoopee.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
I feel like I should just give that slam site a, you know, congratulations, you were a winner.
Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit report. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting.
This is why stealth tanks are so cool. It's like, oh, Orca's gonna come attack you? No. Just gonna cloak up, and that's it.
Affirmative. Vehicle report. Affirmative.
Building.
Waiting order. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
So at this point, I believe the GDI economy is running on fumes.
Affirmative.
The only thing they seem to be able to consistently build are infantry. The only thing they probably have left in terms of vehicles is that one medium tank.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Units moving out. Moving out. Vehicle
Reinforcements
reporting.
have
Waiting
arrived.
order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
We haven't seen anything come from the ion cannon lately, so that's something to be aware of, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Just in case the AI ever decides to just like toss one of those onto one of your obelisks of light and then just, you know, come into your base unopposed.
Moving out. Moving out. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Our
Unit
base is
reporting.
under attack.
Moving out.
So I'm trying to play like the long game here, if that wasn't
Yes, sir.
immediately or already clear.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Technically, I should have probably gone on the left side,
Acknowledged.
destroyed one of the guard towers,
Moving out.
and then taken out the construction center.
Yes, sir.
Just makes more sense that way. On the other hand, the AI is, I don't want to say incapable, but
Yes, sir.
never chooses to rebuild walls. I believe I've mentioned that before. So we kind of want to abuse that, just, you know, make a little bit of a hole, see what we can see, and then,
Yes, sir.
who knows, maybe we'll try to sneak in a couple more guys.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
Also, it's a little strange how, when I was moving into the base, I got shot by the advanced guard tower.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
But
Yep.
when I was moving towards the wall, or to get that little hidey hole for the wall, it didn't detect me. So,
Yes, sir.
is it because it detects further to the side?
Reinforcements
Is
have
it
arrived.
something that has to do with stealth tanks and like engagement zones, quote unquote? I don't know.
Unit reporting. Yes, sir.
There's like too much to unpack for me at this point.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Also, GDI, it looks like they have two comm centers, and I guess technically that's true. I believe the
Yes, sir.
upgraded one, or whatever, is the advanced comm center. In either case, it's clear that one of them is the advanced, and that's determined by, if you look at the top left of the
Awaiting
the model, it has more radar dishes. Also, the advanced one has a
Building.
larger dome, and it's rectangular rather than
Moving out. Unit reporting.
circular.
Affirmative. Unit reporting. Yes, sir.
It doesn't, or it might not seem like a lot, but that's actually like really important for a game like this.
Unit lost.
Just because
Yes,
Lost.
the models are so small in the first place.
Unit lost.
moving out.
Unit
The fact that,
Moving out.
you know, you could be attacking an advanced power plant rather than just a regular power plant
Yes,
can make all the difference in how much power that base has.
acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Moving out. Moving out. Affirmative.
So this is the real pro strat here.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Yes, sir.
Just how to be really stupid with one stealth tank.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir.
Also, I'm really sad that I lost that one stealth tank.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, affirmative.
Unit
Moving out.
cancelled. Building.
I don't think the AI has replaced their harvester. And at this point, it looks like they managed to sneak in an infantry, which is actually super annoying.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
It's gonna make it even worse,
Affirmative.
because of the whole, like, flashing invisibility.
Unit lost.
Awaiting order.
So,
Ready and waiting. You got it.
but, yeah, so
Building.
AI kind of doesn't really have anything it can do right now. So as long as I can destroy those orcas, then I'm kind of home free.
Ready and
But at the
waiting.
same time, monetary issues are kind of keeping me down.
Construction.
If you guys were to play this, only thing I could really suggest, other than doing that strike on the construction center or construction yard,
Reinforcements have
a
arrived.
lot sooner, because that's always important to do. Invest like heavily in flame
Yes,
tanks.
sir. Moving out. Yes, moving
They're
out.
just so good.
Vehicle reporting. Moving out.
I mean, you could go artillery, but
Moving out.
you know,
Yes,
artillery
moving out.
doesn't set infantry on fire.
Acknowledged.
What's the perp? Like, why even bother?
Reporting. You got it. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Construction complete.
Oh, and I lost a SAM site at some point.
Waiting order. Unit acknowledged. Yes,
Again, this
sir.
is one of those moments where it's just like, oh, I
Reinforcements
guess something
have
ate an
arrived.
ion cannon.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Waiting order.
Building.
Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle
Oh, also, smart thing to do right now would probably be just to shoot the
moving
watchtower.
out. Ready and waiting. You got it.
I'm trying to be like fancy and sneak every unit in.
Vehicle reporting. Moving out. Awaiting order. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir.
But, you know, the pathfinding kind of fucks up.
Moving out.
So,
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting order. Knowledge. Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit.
also, I have no clue what that orb does.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Later games kind of give you a better idea as to like what things do.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, acknowledge. Moving out.
Also, this pathfinding is like literally killing me.
Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out.
I'm not sure if it's a visual bug that the GDI refinery is always like, I don't want to say beeping, but
Yes, sir.
looking, it looks like
Unit report.
the harvester's gonna come back.
Affirmative. Unit reporting. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Just a thing that happens, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building.
Unit reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Also, I'm not quite sure why AI sold that helipad,
Acknowledge.
but hey, I'll take it.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Building. Unit lost.
Unit reporting.
Unit lost.
Acknowledge.
Unit lost.
Moving out. Yes, sir. You moving out.
Unit lost.
Did I ever mention that I hate grenadiers?
Waiting order. Vehicle reporting. Vehicle reporting.
Yeah, so if I was,
Construction complete.
if I had known what I knew, or what I know now, out of,
Moving out.
like, absolutely
Building.
bought, I don't know, we'll say like 4 flame
Reinforcements
tanks,
have arrived.
load up maybe a couple light tanks just to, like,
Ready and
take
waiting.
some damage. I still don't think I'd go artillery. Like, people can sing its praises all day, every day, but
Lost.
sometimes you just, there's just that unit that you always look at and you go, nah, I just don't want to.
Building.
I will not indulge.
Cancelled.
But yeah, get
Unit reporting.
like 4 flame tanks,
Moving out.
a couple light tanks to just like soak up damage. Maybe a couple infantry if I'm feeling particularly cruel.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
And then stealth tanks, I guess, for like backup or just like as a second front type idea.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Then I just attack from the front, maybe from the side if I'm,
Reinforcements have
you know,
arrived.
for some reason.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
But yeah, I'd probably just go from the front,
Building.
take everything out, and just kind of steamroll it.
Affirmative. Moving out. Moving out.
Also, that's kind of the reason why I'm not targeting the damaged power plant. Well, I mean, I am now, but
Moving out.
I didn't initially because I just know that I'm gonna blow it up. It's gonna spawn like 2 minigunners, and they're just gonna just wipe that guy out.
Unit moving out. Unit reporting. Moving out.
Oh, and at this point, I think I've drained the
Reinforcements have
power
arrived.
from this base.
Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vehicle moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Unit report. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit report. Affirmative. Yes, affirmative. Moving out.
Don't ask me how that civilian knows that I have a stealth tank.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Construction complete.
Awaiting orders.
That's incredible. I didn't realize it had no trigger for it. It just went for it.
Reinforcements have arrived.
You go, civilian.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit report. Acknowledge.
I should also mention that a base that's out of power won't, like the special superpowers or special ability stuff, does not charge when power is out. Now, I don't know if this applies to A10s, because other than like a radio to call them in, there's nothing that really, like nothing would really like tell you that A10s would need power. And I mean, speak of the devil, there we are. So again, it seems to be like 2, 3 o'clock on the map, followed by 6 or 5 o'clock from this other one. Just, all it means is that it's really annoying and that I hate A10s.
Waiting order. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit moving out. Unit, yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, yes, sir. Reporting.
Yeah, so flame tanks are like really good at destroying stuff.
Acknowledge. Unit, yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, yes, sir.
Like you might not think it just because they're flame tanks. And like, admittedly, because of me playing games in the future, I'm kind of biased on flame tanks. But they do a really good job here, so nothing to worry about.
Captured. Primary building selected.
Oh, and yeah, like, engineers are super cheap compared to like a stealth tank and walking it out and doing a bunch of other stuff.
Yes, yes. Vehicle reporting. Yes, acknowledge.
GDI mission accomplished.